not ready. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining us once again for this.
Hello.
The 91st episode of the Drunk Doctor Who podcast, where we jumped in our TARDIS, traveled back in time, and experienced the 91st serial of Doctor Who.
The Talons of Weng-Chiang.
Chiang.
Anyway,
Filmed.
Okay, so it aired from the
1997.
6 episodes. Aired from February 26, 1977 to April the 2nd, 1977. And today is the 28th of... Today's the 28th of February,
That's real audible.
2022. Which means we once again passed up the time where we watched.
I've lost count. We do that every week now.
No. Alright, anyway, so...
I interrupted you. You're going to say something about Chiang.
Weng-Chiang. Alright, okay, so our companions are Leela.
I prefer buffalo wings.
Oh. And our antagonists, we have 3.
You get it.
Yes.
Buffalo wings.
It's so bad. So bad. Weng-Chiang, yeah. Alright. Our antagonists are 3. We have Mr. Chang, we have Weng-Chiang, and we have Mr. Sin. Mr. Sin.
Not at all confusing.
Yeah. Chinese names.
What are you putting that?
Yeah, I'm drinking a screwdriver.
What are you putting that?
It's 5 parts orange juice,
5 parts.
2 parts vodka, and a pinch of salt.
If you were to reduce that, 1 part vodka, 2.5 parts orange juice.
Not quite, no.
2 parts, 5 parts. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5.
So yeah, you're correct.
To 1.
His math is right. All right.
First time for everything, right?
There you go. All right. Okay. Before we even get started on this 6-part serial.
Woo, you're in for a night.
Yeah, this might be a
We're
long
in
one.
for a night.
Okay. I just want to say 2 things. First of all, we are well and up there on Rumble.
Alcohol? Oh.
No, on alcohol too. We're well and up there on Rumble. I think I'm up to serial 73. So I'm 1 serial from being done with the 3rd Doctor.
Hey.
Which means Rumble will be on the 4th Doctor with us.
You're doing really good.
Yeah. Just upload in the background.
He does all the work.
And so we're getting there, and soon we will hopefully be caught up to YouTube and our other channels. So, if we get taken off of YouTube for whatever reason, because, we say something they don't like or whatever, we're good.
Right now we're under the radar.
Yeah, because we have 31 subscribers, I think. Anyway, so, but we're getting up there on Rumble, and I just keep uploading them. And hopefully we'll have this one processed. What's the term?
Processed?
No, not
Uploaded?
processed. Not uploaded. Rendered.
Published? Oh.
Rendered. We'll have this one rendered and uploaded tonight. And the other thing is... Oh, I apologize for last week. For some strange reason, I was being incredibly surly.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
I was being incredibly surly, and I was very, 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 very impatient. My apologies. So we had a super short episode.
Whoa.
What?
Put an S in my back. Whoa! I slept on something wrong. Alright, I'm good.
Okay. What do you weigh? 220?
Conservatively. How much do you have? About $1.50. What do you mean about? Well, what? Roughly. I said the joke wrong. Never mind.
Okay.
Roughly $1.50. What do you mean roughly? Well, when you smooth it out, it's about 65 cents.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That reminds me of a joke in Cerebus the Aardvark.
Cerebus the Aardvark?
Yeah, about issue 45 or something like that.
It was a comic?
Yeah, it's a comic. It was a comic
Never
book.
heard of it.
It's my favorite. I had every single issue at one point except issue 3.
I thought Captain Marvel was your favorite.
No.
What in all has survived from your childhood closet?
Nothing. It all sucks now. No, I mean, I've got issues.
Yeah.
Everyone has issues. Alright. Anyway.
We have about 91 so far.
Yeah, 91 episodes, not issues. Alright, so... What?
We should issue things.
No.
Is it only an issue if it's in print?
Something like that.
Dang.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What if it's animated comic strips?
I have no idea.
Is it an episode or an issue?
I think those are episodes, but I don't know.
Issue.
Yeah, get some alcohol yourselves, guys. This might be a long one.
Strap in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have to talk about Talons of Weng-Chiang, and it's also the end of the season, so we have to vote on our favorite for the season. No, we're not. So I'm gonna have to get the board over there, and we'll
have
do
another dry erase marker.
Yeah, we do. I don't know where, but we do. Alright, you're drinking Twisted Tea. I'm drinking Screwdrivers with Tito's. Thank you very much.
Tito's?
Yeah, Tito's vodka. And
1 part Tito's, 2.5 parts of vodka.
You don't do 2.5 parts. That's why it's 5 and 2.
Okay.
You don't do half parts.
We can further reduce that by half a part vodka.
No, you don't reduce the vodka.
1 1/4 orange juice, half a part vodka. That's if you're drinking conservatively and they only want that much screwdriver.
Alright. Then just drink a shot of vodka. Oh my gosh.
Maybe they want a little bit
no, they aren't companions.
They feel like companion.
No, they're helpers, but they're not companions.
I do say they're 2 of my favorite helpers.
They're not companions, but they're awesome. I like them both.
They were such a dynamic duo of opposites.
They were fantastic.
Their tit and tat was.
They were both
my apostrophe.
All right.
Come on. I'm getting there.
He's intoxicated. Okay.
I'm tired.
And tired. Time drunk. All right. All right.
What did Time Lords get? Time drunk.
Okay. Anyway.
Did you get my joke from earlier?
Which one?
Buffalo wings.
Yes, it was horrible. Buffalo wing.
Did we get that on camera?
Yes, it was horrible. Oh my gosh. Okay. 6 episodes because the end of a season. That's the way they worked in those seasons. For the first 6 Tom Baker seasons, the good ones. The 7th one's not that good. But anyway.
Why don't you like the 7th one? Hard to nail down, just one reason?
He has a different attitude. He has a different costume, a different garb.
Does he still have the scarf?
Yeah, but it's purple.
Oh. It's not the
and his
multicolored scarf?
Outfit's purple.
The whole outfit?
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Who is he trying to be? Professor Plum?
Yeah, you don't know. Anyway, and it was the beginning of the decline. Jonathan Nathan Turner had taken over, and
the Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages truly were the.
These are long names. I'm gonna run out of room.
Weng-Chiang, Lee Sin-Ching, and Mr. Sin, aka the Peking Homunculus. Deftly done. All right.
Deftly.
Mm.
Yeah, quite the death.
So cheers. Hand. Speaking of death, how many deaths did we have in this 6-part serial?
At least 11 on screen. 3 to 4 possibly off screen. But the off screens are pretty ambiguous.
Yeah, very ambiguous.
Whoa. Oh, hello there. Thank you for joining us once again for
Alright.
Yeah, I'm under. Or how am I reflex this time, dude?
Okay.
What were we talking about?
So the Doctor shows up in London.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. In approximately the 1890s, the Victorian era.
What do we call it when they put it into one word? Parton. They put part and one really close together, so it looked like it said parton.
Pardon, part 1.
Parton.
So, and Leela is in this.
Leela.
She's out of her leopard skins or whatever. Her
She has her first costume change.
yeah, and she's in a Victorian outfit. Looks
Hair
really
all
good.
done up. She looks really good in the Victorian outfit.
That one looks good. The one later looks amazing.
I like the first one more.
What?
The second one's like barber candy stripe kind of.
No, the one later is just glorious.
I like it better when she loses the second outfit.
Giggity. No, that was when she lost the first outfit.
Well,
she had to get the second outfit. Okay, yeah.
I like the first outfit. It's red and then the shawl.
Yeah, there's a part
she
where
had the, what do you call the woman tie?
Cravat.
Cravat. She has a cravat.
A woman tie.
Yeah.
Cravat. Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's cool.
It was a thing.
Can men wear cravats?
No, we would wear ascots.
Ascots.
Ascot.
Nice ascot. You got a nice ascot.
It's not exactly, but thank you, but it's not exactly how it's done. I did wear an ascot for my prom.
How's an ascot? What is an ascot?
You'd have to look up a picture.
It's like a handkerchief, kind of?
It's kind of a poofy...
Not a handkerchief, but a... Yeah, like a...
Yeah, I think you know what it is.
A
Yeah.
handkerchief.
Not quite.
It's that thing if you put too much starch in it, it goes boop. Like a Hook, the animated Peter Pan, and his ascot goes whoop.
No.
That's more like a bib thing. It looks like a button up, but it's not a whole button up. It's just the collar and the buttons of the button up. What is that called? And what's the point of that, by the way? That's the equivalent to not wearing pants for a Zoom meeting. Like, they don't have a full button up. It's just the collar and the buttons, and then they put the vest over it.
I need more alcohol.
It's because it's too hot to wear a vest and a full button up and the jacket, so they wear the collar of the button up under the vest.
No, those clothes were invented by the English because they live in a very cold climate, and they can wear 6 friggin' layers to make it tugs, you know?
Then what's it called when they have that thing that's...
I don't know. I don't know. No, a tux has the shirt, the vest.
The undershirt.
No, you don't wear an undershirt. You
don't wear an undershirt?
No, it's a shirt.
I think you wear an undershirt.
I don't wear an undershirt. You have a shirt, you have a vest,
2.
then you have the jacket.
3.
The vest has the buttons, the jacket has buttons, but you never close it. And of course you have the bow tie. And
is that considered a whole piece? In the 6 pieces?
The bow tie?
Yeah.
No.
What are the 6 pieces?
No, okay.
The undershirt, the
no.
collar shirt.
No. Shirt, vest, jacket.
That's a 3-piece.
Braces, tie,
Braces?
and pants.
What's a braces? That's what straighten your teeth.
No. Okay. All right. Do you know what a?
Probably not, but continue.
Okay, a brace. It goes from here, buttons in the
Oh, it's
pants.
like suspenders, but it's
right.
a 3-piece.
Suspenders clip.
Yeah.
Brace buttons in,
Oh.
and it goes up, and then it comes to the one piece, and it goes into buttons in the back.
What do they call those garters? But your sock garters, but instead of ending at the being held up by your calf, they go all the way up to keep your shirt tucked in and your socks pulled up. It's like sock suspenders and shirt tuckers. I think it's called a tucker.
Spanks?
Maybe. No, Spanx are something else. That's what I get when I'm naughty.
Really?
No.
I might pay to see that video. All right.
No, you wouldn't want to.
Okay.
Turn it off.
Hey, we might be going to different channels soon.
NC-17.
Exactly. All right.
Not safe for work.
None of our stuff is safe. Well, most of our stuff is safe for work, but not all of it. Every once in a while we drop a bomb or so.
My mom kept asking to see my podcast. I kept telling her that that's what I do on Monday evenings. She's like, "Oh, that sounds really nice. You watch things and you talk about it. Like, you should show me that." And I kept.
Don't show the first episode.
I kept like watching episodes and counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we said something offensive. No, I can't show her that. It's like how much? What's the longest timestamp I can like pick out that's wholesome? And I finally settled on when we were talking about Lucille Ball and how she went crazy thinking that the Soviet Union was talking through her. What do they call those? The metal. Cavity caps. Her teeth caps. She went kind of bonkers at the end.
So you showed your mom an episode that was pretty...
I never did show her anything.
Not safe for work. Don't show the kids. We're sorry. Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
Nobody wants their mother to know what they're doing. I mean, nobody. And their mother does. My mother doesn't want her mother to know what she's doing. It's just funny. My mother just turned 77.
Congratulations.
On Saturday. Yeah.
What do you say? Congratulations? Is that what you...
Or happy birthday, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Well, to my mom, but yeah.
Happy birthday,
and
Mrs. Gwendolyn. What's your last name?
Wilson.
Wilson. Happy birthday, Mrs. Wilson.
My stepfather was named Wilson, so she's Mrs. Wilson.
Oh. My father took his mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Hensley.
So why didn't he take his father's name?
Wasn't his father, I guess. Orphan.
Orphan. Okay, that makes more sense.
I guess you get to choose in that situation.
I guess so. My grandmother's still alive.
Well, I guess you get to choose in any situation. You chose your last name, right?
Well, I had it.
You chose multiple last names.
I changed it again, yeah. My grandmother...
There's always a choice, is the moral of the story.
If you're willing to pay the money, yeah. My grandmother's still alive. She'll be 97 in August.
97? Wow.
My mother's mother, yeah. Yeah. It's like, why do men die before their wives? They want to. Henny Youngman.
Henny Youngman, that's a quote.
Henny Youngman, yeah.
We have a lot of quotations.
He's literally the guy who said, "Take my wife, please."
That sounds like a Milton Berle.
No, Henny Youngman.
Henny Youngman. I think I'm having deja vu. We've had this exact same conversation on the podcast.
We have. You may not remember it, but we have.
One of us, one or the other won't remember it, but I feel like we repeat a lot of punchlines, topics.
Okay, so we will do these episodes and we'll drink. And sometimes I remember the episode, sometimes I don't. But when I remember the episode and then I watch it, it's like watching a conversation I know I've had and I know everything I'm going to say. It's much better when I don't remember it. It's a new conversation.
I'm sure we've had the same conversation 3 or 4 times in a row. Must be getting very exasperating to
our viewer.
Our viewer.
Singular. All right.
All right, you are.
All right. Doctor Who. Talons of Weng-Chiang. Okay. Just to let you know, this is a great, classic, phenomenal serial. It is very much worth watching and is very good. There is one... What are you talking about? What are you laughing?
I was thinking about how I have really stupid, sarcastic questions, and then you used to answer them, but now you know better. You just ignore them.
Okay, but you gotta admit, it's a really good serial. It's a lot of fun.
So this serial has pros and cons when it opens very strongly with some insensitive material, some bad makeup, but it grows on you to where it climaxes into a wonderful, wonderful... I feel like episode 5 was my peak. I was just in euphoria over the script writing and the line delivery by the actors. It was fantastic, and I was in love by the end of it. The beginning, I was, this is a little weird.
Okay, really good serial, classic 6-parter, based on modern sensibilities. Okay,
some modern sensibilities have a point.
Okay.
It was a little insensitive.
Lee Sin-Cheng. This must be an A for Chang.
That was. Oh, you're right. It's Chang, not Ching.
Lee Sin-Cheng is played. Okay, he's a Chinese guy. Okay, remember the British controlled a very large chunk of China for a long, long time as part of the empire, and then eventually got reduced to Hong Kong, and then eventually they turned Hong Kong over in 1997, 98. 97, 98. It was literally
they turned Hong Kong over to Hong Kong.
Well, no, they turned Hong Kong over to China with a 50-year independence.
Yeah,
and China's kind of breaking that. But anyway,
yes, very much. So. They're building a massive land bridge. Just we're not gonna get political.
Okay. Right. So anyway,
everyone stands with Hong Kong. Anyway, very similar things are happening with Ukraine and Russia.
Oh my God!
Now.
Don't start me on Ukraine. There you go for hours of Ukraine.
We'll talk about it later.
Right. But anyway, so
we should start a Politicast at some point. Not political, but like a historic newscast.
No.
That's where that comes from, newscast. That's what.
No. Okay. So anyway,
no.
The British Empire controlled a good chunk of China. Anyway, so there were a bunch of Chinese that ended up in London, in England, but specifically London.
And they didn't employ any of them.
What?
For the acting shows.
No. There were probably 20 Chinese parts. All of them were Chinese, except for Lee Sin-Cheng. And he was played by a white guy. Because he was a good actor, I believe. Well, as evidenced by the serial, he was a good actor. But he was a white guy in yellowface. This was 1977. All the yellowface, blackface, whatever, was way on the way out. This is one of the last examples of that.
It struck me as like an odd remnant of
older times.
Things past, yeah.
The very, very last remnants of that were in the early 80s. Tacos. What was the name of that video? Putting on the Ritz. Has a bunch of people in blackface.
I guess I never saw the music video.
Okay, yeah. But,
you
okay, yeah, we go too. Why don't you go where fashion sits? Put on the Ritz. Anyway, but
super duper.
Yeah. I'll show you the video, but it has people in blackface.
I didn't know that.
But anyway, so that's one of the very, 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 very last examples of it. In the 70s, it was very much on the way out. It was, I believe, utilized here because the best actor they could get was a white person for such a pivotal role, and they used the makeup on him. Now, it wouldn't be done today, but it was done then, and it offends the modern sensibilities.
I feel like this was a pretty controversial. So the derogatory terms they use, it kind of turns into a I can't think of his name. Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained director.
Wait, you talking about Quentin Tarantino?
Quentin Tarantino. It kind of turned into like a Quentin Tarantino film is very kind of controversial in the script writing in terms of derogatory terms, but it was done for historical accuracy. Like that's
right, 1890s.
How people
this is
talk
1890s.
There's a
right. Well, yeah, they're being historically accurate, and this is not meant to represent modern day. They call these people chins and chinks, but that's the way it was in the 1890s, and that's the way it was probably into the 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
1930s, 40s. We're rapidly approaching the 2030s and 40s. Yeah.
People are still calling it the 2000s. It's like, you gotta stop.
We're at
Like
2020s.
people will start going through history and be like 1980, 1990, 2000s, and it's like, well, the 10s and the 20s.
Exactly.
Like they totally skipped the 2010s.
The teens.
The teens, the 2010s.
Yeah, I like the noughts or the naughties. That's the 2000, the naughties, and then you have the teens and the 20s.
I was really rooting for the Roaring 20s to make a comeback, but I don't think.
I'm right with you.
The Pixie
right
Cuts
with you.
and the Great Gatsby parties and the.
I'm right with you.
Instead, we got war and pandemics and that's what.
All right, we'll see. Yeah.
We're only 2 years in.
All right, but anyway, so the serial has to be taken in context of the
watch
time.
This in 2030 and be like, oh, that didn't age well.
It has to be taken in context of the time of the 1970s and very much in the time in which it was set, which was the 1890s. You can't make a movie about the 1800s, like 1810, and say, depict slavery, and oh my gosh, it was the worst thing ever, but yes, that's the way it was, and then say the movie's bad because it depicted slavery. I mean, you have to take everything in context for the time, not judge everything by modern standards, partly because standards change from then to now, and partly because standards change from when the movie was made to whenever.
I agree 95%. When you're addressing historical accuracies, you have to do that for, yes, it can be, you're using derogatory terms and it can be hard to write that into a script when you're thinking about historical accuracy at the time. However, there's that 10% where I feel like they went a little overboard with the dictation of Chinese speakers. It was more a parody of how Chinese man sounded.
In this script or in general, or both?
Just in this serial, especially like the early episodes, they were kind of, I feel like they kind of went into a groove to where it's a little bit more accurate with what do you call the accent? I feel like the accent was very overdone.
What's it called? The accent.
Yeah. It was a bit much, but then it fell into more of a groove, and they got more into, I don't know. It grows on you, and then by the end of it, you're just in love.
You don't
with
notice.
It, so. Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit of it didn't age well, but it's a great
serial. Nonetheless. All right, so the Doctor and Leela show up in 1890s Victorian England, in London, and the Doctor's like, hey.
Just shy of the police box actually blending into its surroundings.
Yeah, and the Doctor's like, well, hey, he sees a poster. Hey, this Chang guy.
Yeah.
We should go see this Chang guy.
Now, we see the Doctor, he accurately pilot the TARDIS, like he showed up when and where he meant to, which is not common, which I guess means he was
becoming
meant to
more
be
common.
there.
He's got a better grasp of the TARDIS now.
I don't think he has it all. I think the TARDIS has the grasp of the TARDIS. The TARDIS says, sometimes the Doctor says, I want to go here, and the TARDIS says, no. This time it just so happened where the Doctor said, I want to go here, and the TARDIS said, I agree.
That happens.
I think that's what's going on here.
The TARDIS is the Doctor's love, and sometimes she agrees with him.
I miss Bessie.
You're what?
Bessie.
Bessie, yeah.
When you say that an object is a person's love, I think of cars and automobiles, like.
Aww.
But the TARDIS is very much his muse.
The Doctor calls the TARDIS sexy later on, and
the TARDIS is sexy.
And then the TARDIS.
Did you see that wood paneling in the control room? Sexy.
The secondary control room, yeah.
The old rustic.
Wait, what's the line in this serial? Wait.
Previous serial?
No, this serial. We should something the mahogany.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, come on, like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Talking about going to a bar, and he's like,
paint the mahogany?
We should, no, not paint the mahogany. We decorate the mahogany, yeah. Oh, I love that.
Does that mean bleh?
No, I think it just means hanging out and being there.
Oh, decorating the bar.
Yeah,
Okay,
decorating the bar.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So there's some great main characters. Okay.
We've decorated a mahogany or two.
Yep. Okay. So besides Leela and the Doctor, and
I'll never not think of Futurama when you say
Leela. All right. So okay. So this was Leela first. Remember? All right. There is. What is his name? Henry
Jago.
Gordon Jago. Henry Gordon Jago. Who runs the theater house, and there is Professor Lightfoot, who is a doctor of pathology, and
also a what do they call the morgue doctors? Corpse inspectors.
pathologist.
Is that what they're called? No, I thought there was a name for morgue people, morgue doctors.
Morticians.
No. Morticians are the ones that prepare the body.
I think pathologist is the person that is the word you're looking for.
Get me a blank on that corpse. Full autopsy.
Autopsy, yeah.
Autopsist.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure there's some sort of word. He's looking at very Jack the Ripper-esque. London, girls are going missing. Poor old Mr. Buller runs into the theater house just having a rant to after his performance of what do they call him? The mind.
Well, yeah, he's a magician. He's a hypnotist. All that stuff.
So Mr. Buller rushes in. He says, "My wife's missing. She was here. Where did she go?" And they're like, "You're crazy. And then get out of here." And he gets kicked out of the theater. Just to wind up being ransacked by a whole bunch of this clan, the soldiers of Tong-Chi, or the Black Scorpions, they're called. It's like
a bunch of coolies with the top knots and the little headpieces and
very Bruce Lee-esque if you ever saw.
Ooh, but first he's stabbed by the midget.
Yeah,
Mr. Sin.
Mr. Sin. So all they see is Mr. Buller prostrate on the ground, surrounded by some thugs, some gang members,
coolies,
laundromat
coolies. That's what they're called in Chinese.
Coolies. Fooly Cooly is a
no. What the heck is that?
It's a show.
Fooly Cooly.
Fooly Cooly.
Never heard of it.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So they see this man prostrate on the ground, surrounded by these scorpion thugs, soldiers of Tong-Chi, and they go, "I do believe he's been stabbed in the chest." And then they get into an altercation. The Doctor and Leela get into an altercation. They're quickly outnumbered and kind of mobbed.
And then the police show up to save them.
And the police show up, so then they disperse, but they trip one of them so they can question them.
Yeah. The Doctor's mobbed by a bunch of them. He goes to the ground. Leela shows up and she kicks a couple of those butts, but then she's outnumbered and she's like in a corner about to be savaged. And then the police show up. So the Doctor was overwhelmed by numbers. She was overwhelmed by numbers. And the last singular guy there gets tripped by the Doctor, I thought, and then jumped on by Leela.
So we talked about Leela's costume change. The Doctor comes out in a very Sherlock Holmesian walking stick, and he trips the guy with his walking stick. He carries it around for the first 3 episodes. He eventually ditches it because it's just.
Well, no, but he does have the double shot of liquor in the walking stick. Yeah, I like that. I want one of those
for some reason.
Well, why not?
When you want your flask to be this long.
No, it's just as tall. It's a little vial, but it's
not mine. I would be.
You'd have the whole stick. You know that at Ren Fair they have walking sticks like that.
It has like the 2-foot vial of.
No. It's a walking stick that's like
you just fill it all the way up.
5 feet long,
Can I?
And it's got the little hose. Little thing
That's what I was about to ask.
They have them. They really do.
I really need to make it out to a Ren Fair at some point.
You need to.
They sound like a lot of fun. I want to wear the costume though.
You can.
I have the whole garb.
You can.
With the lacy things because they haven't invented buttons yet.
You can.
I will. Is it expensive? What's admission?
Admission's $35.
Oh, that's like Comic-Con.
Okay, but the Ren Fair you can spend as much money as you want.
I want to get one of those mugs.
You can literally spend as much as you want.
Some ale.
Okay, but we're going Veterans Day weekend this year.
They have it multiple times a year? Or
it's every weekend in October and November.
Is it like the state fair where it travels around?
No, it's in one place in
Germanville?
No. It's halfway between Magnolia and Plantersville. What's the name of the town? Plantersville.
It's where planeswalkers congregate.
No.
That's where they walk to.
No. Plantersville.
Plantersville. It's where planters congregate.
I can't remember the name the exact name of the incorporated area.
There's
Thomas's Cross or something.
There's a couple of sayings that go around in the podcast. Don't date your podcast, which we do all the time. And there's
Wait. We have the exact date. What are you talking about? Don't date your podcast.
A big no-no.
Well, screw them.
Apparently, it's very intimidating to new viewers. They don't want to click on the video if it's numbered and dated. And also...
Numbered, dated, okay?
They say don't localize your podcast. Don't talk about local.
Yay! We don't care about viewership. We're not doing this viewership. We're doing this to drink.
The least welcoming to the new random viewer.
Yay! If you're here randomly...
They stumble across their thumbnail and go, episode 91. I gotta go all the way back to episode 1. I can't just start.
Alright.
Whoa! Get out! Get out of here! We lost our last viewer.
We had a viewer?
Thanks to
we really had a viewer?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry.
She's my biggest fan. My only fan.
You? No.
That's a risque website.
OnlyFans? OnlyFans?
Yeah.
What is OnlyFans?
A risque website. It's where girls hold pictures of their feet or something, and lonely men just give them a lot of money. And
that's a strip club.
But online.
It's an online strip club.
Yes. Basically. Stills. Well, videos. It became very popular, and you know how girls would get jobs at the strip club to put themselves through college?
Yeah.
Well, now girls set up their OnlyFans page to fund their college.
Okay.
Because it's safer.
Okay. And I guess somebody has to put them through college?
And that's lonely men who pay for pictures of their feet.
You know, there's a lot of porn on the internet that you don't have to pay for.
But it's not hard. It's more interpersonal because it's kind of like Patreon for nudies.
Okay, I mean, I Patreon Awkward Ashley. I guess I could see
you Patreon Awkward Ashley, and then you drop a comment. Hey, you should check out this movie.
She hasn't done it yet. I keep saying Time Bandits. She hasn't watched Time Bandits.
So OnlyFans, they go, can you send me a picture wearing a pink lacy?
Really?
Yeah. And it became like basically the social media for nudes, and guys would pay girls money to take pictures, and they post and then that's how a lot of girls afford college nowadays. Which you can look at it as it's really sad, but you could apply that to either gender. It's really sad that men will pay for that kind of comfort, but it's also really sad that women have to objectify themselves, and it's equality.
Okay, 2/3 of college students now are women, so.
Really?
Yeah. Men are really
Men's
left
going to
behind.
the trades, I guess.
No, men are really left behind in college stuff these days.
I mean, men are going into the trade schools. Like, there aren't a whole lot of women in welding and plumbing. Which, I mean, you make a lot of money. That's a fulfilling career. Like, not a lot of people. You had college shoved down your throats, and then, like, the trades got really neglected, and then, you know, make a lot of money as a welder. Trade school.
Okay, where were we for Doctor Who?
They just killed Mr. Buller. We captured
Mr. Who?
Buller.
Oh my gosh.
Buller,
We're in
because
episode 1.
his wife Emma went missing at the theater, said his mother Nellie.
Mother-in-law. What?
That's a different... Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Very pivotal point that it was on-shot character.
Oh my god.
Was an in-law. So they're at the police station now, and the police officer is questioning Leela and the doctor for some reason, rather than the man who was involved in the murder.
Well, because
He
all
says,
they
"We're
have to
wasting
go
time."
with.
He's like, "Do you not have no permanent address?" Yeah.
But he's questioning them because they're witnesses, but it's just their word against the word of the Chinese guy.
Yeah. And no one's is there to translate yet. But then the doctor says, "I can translate."
He says,
And he says,
"Ni hao ma."
Hadder will translate the entire conversation.
No. How are you? Ni hao ma. And then he says a whole bunch of stuff I can't translate.
And then he
got into,
"Oh,
I know this much of the language from living in China. I don't know what he said next.
Were you taught English in China, right?
Yeah, I taught English in China, in Wuhan, China, where the friggin' pandemic started.
Really pretty countryside. No?
Big ass city, 9.5 million people.
You never went to the country? Just to
Well, I did. I saw Wuxian.
They have a lot of like plains and hill country.
Well, and terraced farming and stuff like that, yeah.
I just wanted to go to Japan and look at the cherry blossoms. That's on my bucket list. Let's go.
Let's go.
You can do a lot of stuff in Tokyo.
Okay.
Better than Vegas.
Let me know when you want to go.
You can eat sushi off of a person.
I don't want to eat sushi off of anybody or anything.
You haven't seen a person.
Allergic to iodine.
You can get non-seafood sushi.
You can't get non-seafood sushi.
Vegetarian sushi.
There's vegetarian sushi.
Is there iodine in seaweed?
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm gonna drag Hatter into a nudie sushi bar.
I have no problem with nudie bars. I have a problem with sushi bars. Okay.
Well, it's both. Except the more you eat, the more nude it is.
Okay, I would want to eat a lot, but
that is a thing.
I have no problem with nudity. Okay.
Speaking of nudity, we'll get to that later.
Okay, so let me know when you want to go to Japan.
As soon as possible. It sounds expensive.
Let me know when you can afford Japan. Tokyo is very expensive.
Like $2,000 for a week-long vacation? More than $2,000? $5,000?
That sounds about right. I mean, you have to pay for the flight to get there, the flight to get back. You have to pay for a place to stay and things to do.
Now I want to do countryside and city, so.
And not in Tokyo. There's no countryside.
The best time to travel is when you're young, but you're all broke when you have the energy and no money when you're young, and then you're old, you have the money and no energy.
Okay, so that's why they have hostels when you're young.
I'm very hostile as a young person.
Hostels, not hostiles.
Hotels. What is a
hostel?
Hostel.
It's a place. It's a cheap place for people to stay when they're young. Basic amenities, bunk beds, yada yada. 4 people to a room.
Hostels. Do they have a hostile airplane that can take me over?
No.
That's a genius business plan, by the way. I'm gonna start a hostile airline. $200 round trip anywhere you want to go.
Anywhere. You'll go bankrupt.
It's a rickety cardboard.
Have you seen gas price? Oh my god. Alright. I'm going to the restroom. Why don't you actually advance us into the second
I'll
episode?
do my best. Where does this room?
We're in the first episode. We're like an hour into the podcast. We're in the first episode.
I know where we are now, and I know where it ends, and I have no idea how to connect those lines.
You go through the plot.
There's a rodent of unusual size.
We're making up for last week with a whole bunch of crap, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you cut me short last time, so I'm going to go
on. I did. So I'm trying to be patient, and I'm being patient. But
so Mr. Buller was shanghaied, but it is really just his corpse, which later ended up in a river, which a blimey old lady
a crone, a termagant.
Why, it's a floater, all right. Feed that to the dogs or some nonsense.
You wouldn't want to see that served with onions.
She was fascinated by this corpse. The copper gets like the hook and he drags the corpse out of the water and they say, blimey, it's Buller and he's been stabbed in the heart by a midget, judging from the angle. So they send that on over to Dr. Lightfoot in the morgue to be autopsied. So the doctor, as he does, talks his way into more and more credibility with the police force. At first he's a witness to the murder, and they're like, oh, you're a suspect, and they start to question him. And then, through a little bit of conversation, they're like, oh, this guy's like a professional. He speaks all these different dialects of Chinese and stuff. But they still don't trust him right away. So he's talking to this guy and questioning him. But then Mr. Lee Hsien-Chang from the theater comes in because he's their, their translator. He's a respected figure of the community or something. So they go, oh, hey, thanks for coming in. Can you translate? So Chang sits down at the table across from the guy, and subtly, when no one's looking, he opens up his ring, and inside his ring, it looks like is a little red ruby thing, and I'm like, oh, he's bribing him. But then the guy takes the ruby and puts it in his mouth. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's smuggling this bribe, and he's going to corroborate the story or something. But then he freaking dies, and it's like, oh, that wasn't a ruby bribe at all. That was, what's that called when you cyanide? Except it was concentrated scorpion venom that he ingested and died, which is apparently a thing with the soldiers of Tongchi, which is also called the something scorpions, the black scorpions. If they fail their mission, then they commit suicide by ingesting these little pellets of concentrated scorpion venom, so then they can't, be questioned and tortured and give up, other members or the plans and anything. So it feels like the London cops and stuff are a little racist because this guy drops dead on the table and they kind of just go, oh well, he died, which I guess that's how they treated all deaths in the 1800s, 1700s, but it just seems so insensitive. They're like, oh dang, he died, oh well, I guess we won't get any answers out of him. And then Shane stands up and goes, okay, thank you, have a good night, officer. And they're like, thank you for coming in. And the doctor's like, this guy died. Scorpion venom. So the doctor is on to Chang. He's like, oh, I know something's going on here. So they take that guy down to the morgue to be autopsied, just like Mr. Buller, who ended up in the river. And that's where the doctor and Leela meet Dr. Lightfoot, and they say, oh, this Buller guy, he ended up in the river, he has a bunch of gnaw marks like animals, and Lightfoot says, I concur, yeah, it does look like animal marks. So, of course, the doctor comes in being a professional, intellectual, he sort of gains the trust of Lightfoot, and they look at each other with respect as, doctoral peers, and he goes, oh, it looks like gnaw marks. He was gnawed on by an animal. And he goes, yeah, it does. And he's like, from the incisors or whatever, it looks like a rat. And he's like, it does, but there's no rat that size. Those are huge teeth marks. And then he looks at the clothing and he pulls out this tuft of hair and he's like, this looks like rat hair. And Lightfoot's like, this is 3 inches long. There's no rat that has hair that long. It's a quarter of an inch at the largest. And he's like, well, he's gnawed to death. And he's like, well, the cause of death wasn't the gnawing or the river. He's actually stabbed in the heart by a midget. And he's like, well, how do you know it was a midget? It was the trajectory of the stab wound. And then Leela says, well, how do how can you tell the size of the assailant from the trajectory of the stab wound? Because we're always taught to aim under the breastplate when stabbing someone.
Under the ribs.
Which is a really good point, but I guess it stands. Did the Girl Scouts come by? They're outside my work.
Yep. Paid them for cookies. Wait, we're actually advancing the plot?
We just talked about the autopsy of the animal and stuff.
Are we in episode 1 or episode 2?
Yeah, the Black Scorpions. That's what they're called. So they leave the morgue, right? The doctor is about to get ambushed by an assassin. The assassin goes to throw a hatchet at him and misses because a throwing axe. Because apparently a throwing axe just looks like a normal axe head turned upside down, so the point curvature goes like that. So you can.
Okay.
Which makes sense. Anyway, he misses, and we find out that he missed because Leela was behind trailing the doctor for his safety, and because the doctor told her to stay put, but she followed him anyway, and she has a blow dart gun with a Janus thorn that we saw in a...
From the previous serial.
Couple serials ago? Previous serial.
Last serial, yeah.
Last serial. Robots of death.
No.
And the doctor said...
2 serials ago, then.
The doctor said, I told you no more killing, no more Janus thorns. She's like, well, he's about to kill you. And he's like,
oh,
that's a good point. I guess you better come with me. So he finally accepts that Leela is kind of on par with like Jamie, which is awesome because, you know, badass lady is a really cool character. We love Jamie
McCrimmon.
There's this guy, McWiggin that I listened to, and I always get McCrimmon and McWiggin. McWiggin.
Who's that?
Irish or Scottish? I don't know. Public speaker.
Okay. And
I just get their last names confused. Jamie McWiggin, Jamie McCrimmon.
Okay, so the doctor's not killed. That's the end of episode 1, right?
No, they jump into the sewers to explore because later they're passing it. That's where the...
No, we're past episode. We're in episode 2, right?
Episode 1 ends with the rodent of unusual size that they find in the sewer after they...
Okay, sure.
So they jump into the sewer, and then they see the giant rat that we alluded to earlier with the giant teeth marks and the giant tuft of fur, and they book it.
This should have been 8 episodes. There's so much going on.
Now we're in episode 2. We're greeted to a scene of a man in an iron mask, which is really Velcro.
Weng-Chiang.
Chinese god, or
Not
actually
smart.
Magnus Greel.
Actually, he's Icelandic from the 51st century.
Yeah.
We find that out later.
Okay, episode 2. Your turn.
What, my turn? We're going my turn.
I don't know what happens in episode 2.
Well, you know what happens. You've got it already now.
I have questions written down. I don't have a plot point by point. So we're back in the theater with Jago, and then Jago's hypnotized by Chang while he's negotiating his new salary for him to stay on because he's bringing so many people into the theater.
Two, that's much later.
I don't know what happens in episode 2. Oh, so at some point they meet back up with Lightfoot. Lightfoot invites them back to his house for dinner, and the doctor and Leela are in the cab going to have dinner, and then the doctor goes, oh, I just thought of something, and jumps out of the horse-drawn carriage. And he leaves Leela with Lightfoot, where we have a really charming interaction where Lightfoot kind of catches on that, Leela's not from this region, she's from this tribe.
Well, because the doctor tells him that.
Right, yeah, and because of how she talks and the question. He's like,
why
do you create fire in your mouth? He's like, have you never seen a pipe
got a
before?
pipe, yeah.
Which is really sweet. And then, so he invites her back to his house for dinner, and she just grabs a big haunch of meat and starts digging in. And he goes, do you want a plate? Do you want a knife? And she takes the knife, and it's a good knife.
Skewers the meat and uses it as a holder.
She's like, are you going to eat? And he's like, yeah. And he picks up a plate, and he's like, well, I guess we'll just eat. And he picks up a leg of meat, and it's really nice. I really like Lightfoot. He's a very loving and accepting, smart.
Agreed. I do like Lightfoot so much.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Lightfoot and Jacob. Yeah, I like them both.
Abednego. Ratchak, Meshach. And Abednego.
What the hell are you talking about? Is that Community?
No.
I like Community.
I've only seen a few episodes of Community.
No, you gotta watch the whole thing.
The whole thing?
You gotta watch the first 3 seasons. The other 3 seasons are okay, but the first 2 seasons are awesome.
I have till March 10th until my Netflix subscription runs out, because I cancel it. It was annoying me.
So you have like 10 days.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get through 3 seasons of Community.
We can loan you Community.
But I've done a lot of binging before.
We have it on DVD.
What else is it streamed on besides Netflix?
I don't know.
But
we have it on DVD.
Netflix.
You don't need to stream it when you own a physical copy.
Do you know what I don't own?
What?
A DVD player.
Wait. You don't own a DVD player?
Well, who needs them?
What? Like I've got one in that drawer right there that we bought in Vegas. We can give you a DVD player.
Oh, I forgot.
What? We bought it in Vegas. We watched the Doctor Who on it.
We had to buy a DVD.
We did. We bought a DVD player.
We really
HDMI cable. What are you? I can give you one. You can watch stuff on it.
I bought this $10 HDMI cable. I'm like, you get the DVD player. You get the $40 DVD player. I'll get the HDMI cable. We'll call it even.
Seriously, you can watch DVDs. You know.
I dust off my old Xbox 360 to play DVDs because that's how often I have the Star Wars Xbox, and it's styled like R2-D2, so when you turn it on, it goes whoop woo woo.
Oh God, no.
Woo.
No.
And the controller looks like C3.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, it was so much. Played a lot of Halo 4 on that Xbox.
God.
And
Okay.
Halo 3.
No. Oh God. No. Okay.
And Reach. So much Reach.
Do you need to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
in episode 2?
Episode 2, do you know what happens?
No.
So Lightfoot and Leela are having dinner. Meanwhile, the doctor jumped out of the horse-drawn cab to investigate the theater where he meets up with
Jacob. I thought that was later.
Probably. Episode 2 ends with Mr. Sid knocking out Lightfoot. So,
Oh my God.
I don't know how you get there, but something happened. Whoop. Take it away.
Well, at least he's not here to get us off track. Okay. Episode something or other. Leela and Lightfoot are defending their domicile, Lightfoot's house, and Lightfoot's like, wait a minute, I thought I saw a Chinese guy outside. Remember, it's going to be very Chinese specific. If you're a Sinophile, great, more power to you, as am I actually. But, hold on. We were still playing our Steam chess game. And I want to make a move. It's been a bit. Knight to Queen's Rook 3. If you're using modern notation, my apologies. I'm traditional. Good thing his bishop is moved. Alright, anyway. Oh. Alright, anyway, so. The doctor and Leela are trying to figure this stuff out. They go, and there's wonderful Jago, Henry Gordon Jago. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And there is Lightfoot, Professor Lightfoot, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And it turns out a bunch of girls have gone missing lately in this area. They think it might be, the papers think it might be Jack the Ripper come back again. So Jack the Ripper was in 1888, so this was the 1890s. And they're going about trying to figure out what's happening. Why all these young girls are missing. Turns out they're all missing because they're being destroyed. Their essence of life is being succumbed and sucked away to feed Weng-Chiang. It turns out eventually to be somebody else. This Weng-Chiang Chinese god is a man from the future, from the Nordic countries, Iceland, who traveled back in time like 3,000 years to end up in China, and then he's trying to escape in this time cabinet, which brought him back in the past, trying to escape again because all his DNA is messed up. Anyways, so the doctor and Leela follow him to the theater, and Jago's rummaging around the theater. Eventually, they discover that he has a lair under the basement of the theater, so a sub-basement. And that sub-basement lair Yep. Come in.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
You need towels?
Sure, if you want to clean, yeah.
Housekeeping.
Anyway, I think I'm still on episode 2. I'm not 100% sure.
We're not on episode 6 yet?
No, I'm not 100% sure.
Did we get where Mr. Sin knocks out Lightfoot?
Maybe.
Okay, well let's see.
Okay, these are mixed up to me. Wait, what are you opening? Wait, I've got the cookie. I got the Girl Scout mint thins here.
I'm not a big fan of mint.
You don't like mint? You don't like mint? Okay. Okay, anyway.
It's funny because I just put a mint in my mouth. But I don't like when they
That's the peppermint.
Yeah, right.
Mint.
Exactly. That's other people don't understand that. I like peppermints. I don't like when they bake mint into.
Oh my god, this is so bad. I'm sorry, viewer. You
More of a s'mores than a Girl Scout cookie guy.
If you're watching a train wreck, this is it. Alright. A s'mores what?
So bad you can't look away.
Sure.
That's my Girl Scout cookie of choice. What is it called? The s'mores something?
S'mores, yeah.
Yeah, just the s'mores. The s'mores cookie. S'mores cracker. S'mores sandwich.
Okay.
They sell a s'mores thing.
Alright.
Everyone always gets the Thin Mints. I don't know why they're so popular.
I love Thin Mints. They're gorgeous.
They have a lot of other really good cookies.
Like, no.
Thin Mints is the #1 top selling Girl Scout cookie.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many other good cookies. Why does everyone like mint so much? Mint chocolate
Mint's
chip?
good.
Mint does not belong in food. Mint chocolate chip?
I disagree.
Well, I don't want to feel like I'm brushing my teeth while I'm eating ice cream and cookies.
Feel free to advance supply.
The disdainful look.
I think you are like smoking crack at this point.
For whatever reason, you have an intoxicating presence in the room. Because
I'm intoxicated.
As soon as you left the room, I became so cognizant, and I was just nailing the recap, like plot point by plot point. And then you walk back in, I don't know.
Should I leave and you call me back when you're done?
No. Not at all. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Is the mint in the chocolate, or is it?
You eat it. It's a cookie.
There's no way I can eat around it. Peppermint while eating mint.
See? Cookie. Good.
It was the weirdest culmination of flavors. Ah! Yeah. You know when your mouth waters over something? Do you ever get something that's like such a specific flavor that it like your it makes your entire like your mouth, your jaw muscles just go. I'm gonna start a collection.
You are smoking crack.
No, not even once. I'll try a lot of things, but not. I used to have this lifestyle philosophy of I'll try anything once, and the whole bucket list. And then some things didn't go well, and then my philosophy quickly changed to some things not even once. But some other things multiple times.
Oh my God.
You ever have your taste buds just change on you randomly?
Wait, your what?
Your taste buds change? So like something you hated for years and years, all of a sudden you try again, and you're like, this is fantastic.
You mean like this podcast?
Well, if we quit it for a few years and then pick it up again. You went from hating it to loving
there's
it.
no quitting it. We're just doing it.
So like every cell in your body regenerates after 7 years. So that includes all your taste buds. Mm-hmm. So every once in a while, your taste buds will just change randomly. So you'll grow up your whole life going, oh, I hate pickles. And then one day, you're like, okay, I guess I'll try a pickle. And you're like, this is awesome. How have I not been eating pickles every day? That happened to me. I love pickles now. Can't get enough pickles. Couldn't stand them. Used to love cherry flavored anything. All of a sudden, I was like, cherry's really gross. I can't. Cherry.
Really?
So your taste buds just change. So some things, not even once. Other things, worth another try after 7 years. Which is not as catchy as I'll try anything once kind of philosophy, but
okay. How does this advance Doctor Who?
Because you kept handing me Thin Mints, and I didn't.
Oh God! I'm sorry, viewers. I really am. Wait, I'm kind of sorry, viewers.
So we talked about how the Doctor was in the theater with Jago, and they're following this like Sherlockian Holmes clues, and then they run into the Masked Man after the Masked Man and Chang were in the carriage, and they stop by Lightfoot's house, and Chang goes, "Leave it to me, Lord, I will get the cabinet," and the Masked Man goes, "All right, I will trust you," and then he goes back to his hiding spot in the theater, and the Doctor and Jago team up to try to catch him, and they're discovering clues in the basement and holograms.
You know, we haven't really talked about any of that, but sure, we'll roll with that.
Well, anyway, what have you been talking about?
I'm getting there, but no, we
That's
haven't talked about any of that stuff.
Anyway, so
we will take that as read now, you know?
So, surprisingly, this Masked Man who is like dying and sick and coughing,
Phantom of the Opera,
the Masked Man in the theater, all of a sudden is once again very spry, and he's, swinging on ropes, and we really get the sense that the darkness and the scaffolding of this theater is this guy's domain, and he knows it like the back of his hand, and the Doctor's trying to run after him, and he gets absolutely routed, 2 or 3 times where he's, he's going up these steep stairs and he throws stuff down at him, and then eventually the doctor gets caught on some curtain and he falls, and anyway the masked man ends up getting away, which is not something we see very often. The doctor just being sort of outmaneuvered and outdone.
Flummoxed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Chiang is tasked with getting this time cabinet out of Lightfoot's house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Mr. Sin comes in.
Yeah.
And Lightfoot and Leela are having that dinner still. And Lightfoot goes, I saw someone in the garden. Someone's looking in my house. And he grabs the revolver and he goes, you stay here.
It's
I'll
a
check it out.
5-shot, not a 6-shot. Yeah.
Small revolver. And then we hear a thud and Lightfoot's knocked out. And that's the end of episode 2. Episode 3, Mr.
Really?
Sin. Yeah. Mr. Sin comes walking in.
4 episodes ago. Yeah, Mr. Sin comes in, the little ventriloquist puppet by Deep Roy. Oh my gosh, this guy was in
Willy Wonka.
No. Yeah, Willy Wonka. No, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The little guy that was all the Oompa Loompas.
No, I mean sexually is in Willy Wonka.
Really? We can't afford the lawyers that defend us against that accusation. That's a joke. Alright.
They don't call him Deep for nothing.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
We love Deep Roy. He's a great actor. This is back in 19...
We love anyone called Deep, thank you.
No. We respect Deep Roy. Fantastic acting abilities. And this is back in 1977 where there's a little 20-year-old Deep Roy back when he was in his youth. He's 67, 64?
Something like that now, yeah.
Back in his 20s, his early acting career, which is cool, really cool. What else is he in besides Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Don't know. No. Okay, we're eating cookies.
He's in a lot of stuff, but we don't.
He's in stuff, we don't know about it. But he was in Doctor Who. Yeah. Why are you doing this? Okay.
So after the doctor fails to catch up with the man in the mask in the theater, he meets back up at Lightfoot's house. Lightfoot has been knocked out. And the carriage is pulling away after Chiang and Mr. Sin failed to capture the cabinet. And Leela, after being confronted, leaps out the window to escape from Mr. Sin because she threw a knife in his neck and he's just fine because apparently he's a robot. Anyway, she sees this carriage pulling away and she goes, I'm going to jump on that carriage. I got to see where that's going. Which is good that she does, but very risky. But she's very confident. So the doctor, he pulls up just as Leela's,
moving
stowaway
distance,
on the back of this carriage and goes, wait, no, stop. Okay.
It's a little more emphatic than that.
It's like, wait,
no, don't, Leela, no.
I won't look for you at all. He walks in, and Lightfoot's like, what the blazes happened? Jimmy, what? No.
He wakes up, yeah.
Very Victorian English writing.
Everyone in this is so stereotypical. The Chinese are so stereotypically Chinese. The English are so stereotypically English. It's so much.
Everything is so overdone towards just.
It's wonderful though. It's wonderful.
It's emotional roller coaster because it's really goofy and fun, and you're laughing, and then it's really dark and sinister and mysterious, and the mystery and the intrigue, and you're like, wow.
The whole thing is wonderful.
Great zero. So the doctor meets up at Mr. Lightfoot's house, and Lightfoot goes, "What happened?" And he's like, "You were assailed by a very small man, and do you have a gun?" which is one of the only times we ever see the Doctor ask for a firearm.
But you have an elephant gun.
Yeah. He's like, I have this giant blunderbuss that's 50 years old. It was gifted to me by the Rahajin of India.
It was a duck gun.
Duck gun. The Doctor goes, thank you, we're going into the sewer. So
It hasn't been fired in 50 years, but...
Right.
So it was made in where?
I don't know.
Birmingham.
Oh yeah,
Made
Birmingham.
in
Because it's made in Birmingham.
It's all it takes. It's made in Birmingham.
Where'd all these cars come from? Detroit. It's a gun made in Birmingham. So you know it's quality. So Lightfoot and the Doctor rent a boat, and the Doctor's going through the sewer tunnels where he knows the rodent of unusual sizes reside, which is why he wanted this really old 50-year-old single-shot rifle.
Elephant gun.
Elephant gun. And he goes, if I'm not back in a half hour, don't bother.
2 hours.
2 hours. So meanwhile, Leela has followed this carriage. She is hidden behind this wall. She sees Mr. Chang
Are we still on episode 3?
Yes. She sees Mr. Chang pick up this unassuming girl and hypnotize her with his powers of influence, mental seduction. He tells her to get in the carriage, and they take her back to the theater, and he marches her upstairs into his dressing room, and he sits her down and says, stay here, wait. And then Leela goes, this is really bad, she's in danger, so she takes her, and she's hypnotized. She's, in this comatose state. She's totally ensorcelled, entombed, encapsulated.
No, ensorcelled's probably the best one, yeah.
She's comatose. So
Yeah.
Leela swaps outfits with her and hides her in the closet because she knows she's, out of her regular state of mind. She's like, to defend this girl, I'm going to take her place. That way I can see what's going on here, discover the mystery, but also rescue this girl. So Mr. Chang comes back after grabbing one of the stagehand sweepers from the theater. So he takes her and then he goes back upstairs and he grabs Leela, who he thinks is this other girl that he abducted, and he takes them down to the basement where the masked man is. And this is where
Chang, who needs 2 women now.
2 women
to suck their life.
This is where we discover the mystery of why he goes from, coughing and dying to, all of a sudden being quite spry. We find out that he's sucking the life force from these women, and that's why 9 women have gone missing so far. So they put the stagehand lady in this one thing where they're going to zap her energy, and Mr. Chang goes upstairs because there's a disturbance, and Leela assaults the masked man with a scarf, and she throws him to the ground, and they're struggling.
She kind of garrots him a bit, but doesn't finish the job, unfortunately.
Which is an occurring theme, where she goes with a knife and she does that.
Fails, yeah.
It was almost intentionally. It's like, I feel like the Doctor is having an influence of where she's this killing machine with the Janus root, and then the Doctor says, no killing. So that's why she's going to assassinate someone in the
No, it's all plot driven. It's all story driven.
No, I feel like she respects the Doctor to where she's trying to not kill people, but still... Anyway,
sure,
she's struggling with her identity of the value of life and where you go from, It's okay to take a life and defend yourself, but maybe it's also okay to just overpower someone when possible. So she's learning from the Doctor. Anyway, she garrots him and she throws him to the ground. There's a kerfuffle and she's overpowering him until he grabs a gun and he misses, and then she runs down to the sewer, and then he goes, you wish you had died by my hands, and he rings the bell because he wants the rats to get her. The gong, the dinner bell. That's the rat's dinner bell. Quit. He puts the meat out and he rings the gong, and they're like, dinner time. So she goes in the sewer and rings the dinner bell.
End of episode 3.
No. So she's going through the sewer. So Doctor has this duck gun, and he's going down the same sewer, and she trips and she falls, and this rat is on top of her, and that's where episode 3 ends. Episode 4, the Doctor shoots the rat, and she's fine, just a bruise.
Yeah, and the rat was infamously a pretty much a problematic prop that the company that made it was then fired by the BBC.
Again! This is the second time.
And a new company was created by the BBC to do that, yeah. Hired.
It really was just like a plushie, and its teeth are like flexible, so you see the puppeteers trying to act like it's eating this meat, and they're just kind of smushing its face on it. It's not real convincing.
Yay!
The rat is the lowest budget prop in the.
Yeah.
It's not well done. Well, neither is Chin's makeup, but.
Chin's makeup is actually okay.
So the first episode, I don't know if it was the makeup or the lighting or the angles. It looked really convincing in the first episode, and then just immediately got way worse. And I don't know if they just got tired of putting effort into the makeup or like the lighting and angles changed.
No, but overall, his makeup was okay.
It looked really bad.
Well, no, it was okay.
And these like swollen eyes. So he's a white guy, so he doesn't have slanted eyes. So they put like these prosthetics to make it look, and he just looked like he's having an allergic reaction with the puffy eyes and the painted on eyebrows and the.
Okay, you keep advancing the plot. I'm gonna work on
It looks bad.
the best of this season.
You can't handle the plot.
What?
I had her drink too much, and he doesn't remember what happened.
It's partly true, actually. I remember most of what happened. I don't remember everything that happened.
Here is the most family-friendly part of the serial: is that we have
is when Leela has her clothes stripped from her. She's in her shift, and the shift is just a white, basically sheet covering her, and then she gets wet. The doctor shoots the thing, and she's there in her shift, and it shows everything: breast, nipple, everything. Yay, family show.
Family show. Yeah. I'm sure that.
Cheers.
At the time, they were watching it on a 4K TV. So
No.
Lucky us.
4K 6-foot TV. Yeah, no. Yay! Thank you, family show. She's hot, actually. I'm not sure.
Very good-looking girl.
Okay, you keep going.
So they didn't see everything. We sure did. Not so family-friendly.
Well, they might see if they watch us and then watch it on their TVs.
I'm saying back when it was aired.
No, not back in the day. But
they didn't see it. Now, in the future, with the big screen 4K TV, you see some stuff that they didn't intend for us to see. But she's basically having this wet t-shirt contest and won.
She won. Yeah.
She did win. So he rescues Leela. They go back to the boat with Lightfoot. They go back to Lightfoot's house. Lightfoot gets her a change of clothes where she changes into this candy striped barbershop dress.
Oh no, it's
Victorian
gorgeous.
brown.
It's so gorgeous.
White and green. It is nice. I like the red outfit with the hat and the kerchief, the scarf, the tie. What's the lady tie called?
Cravat.
Cravat. Cravat. You think someone ever got garrote by a cravat?
No. Right.
You don't think so?
You keep going.
I bet that's happened at least twice in human history.
No. Alright, next episode.
I learned about British slang. That apparently they make up rhymes for words to mean that word that has nothing to do with that word. So it goes, "Oi, you're my mate." But instead of saying mate, I'm going to call you a dinner plate. Because it rhymes and it has nothing to do.
It's a thing.
It's so stupid.
We do it. It's okay. Here.
We
Cheers.
don't do that.
Cheers. Just get yourself more of that bag in a box twisted tea.
Use some more screwdriver. More screwdriver.
I have been. I've got that down here. You get yours some more of that.
I have this right here.
You get that, and then I will. Oh.
Here, use mine.
No, I've got mine. Alright, I'll write this out. You continue the plot.
What happened next there?
What do you mean, what happened next Saturday?
We have the costume.
You have the notes. Alright.
Something about a gooseberry.
I'll bet you a guinea to a gooseberry. He's in the stands. Yeah.
And he owed him a gooseberry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So. Well.
Nobody's ever going to watch this. You realize that, right? I mean, if they do,
That's
I'm
the
sorry
whole
for you.
Point. So, costume change back at Lightfoot's house. The Doctor and Leela go back to the theater to do some more investigating because they need to meet up with Mr. Chiang and question him because they pretty much know that he's guilty at this point and they don't know who the masked man is. Maybe they're one and the same. They don't. Well, they know that it's not because Leela. Anyway, so they're. Gosh, I have no idea what happens.
What do you mean you have no idea what happens? You took notes.
We are halfway through the recap. I took questions. You know, my question for episode 3 is Mr. Sin, played by Oompa Loompa Deep Roy, and then Doctor asks for gun. End of episode is rat bite.
Okay, where the hell are we?
We're on episode 4 now. The Doctor goes to the theater, and they tell Mr. Lightfoot to lock up and guard that cabinet because the Doctor has at this point realized this bronze lacquer box is actually a time cabinet. Fascinating technology from the 25th century.
51st.
Failed.
51st.
Oh, that was way off. The failed experiment in time travel, which kind of worked, but kind of scrambles your DNA and your metabolism at the same time, which is why this guy wears a mask, because he is messed up.
Yeah.
What?
That was actually pretty decent.
You what's that language that abyssals speak? Deep. Abyssal.
What? Yeah.
No, not abyssal. There's a deep something. That's what I imagine that sounds like. It's just like low decibels.
What? Okay, so let's continue.
So we're gonna vote on these
We will. At the end.
right now. Oh no, right now.
No, not now. We're not done.
We're not having an intermission and vote.
No. Continue with the plot. What the?
Lightfoot agrees to lock up the house and guard the time cabinet. However, he did not expect for Mr. Sin to be in his laundry hamper.
Exactly, because the Chinese do all the laundry or something.
Who then unlocks the doors and the
Let the other coolies in.
They own the laundromat. He lets in the soldiers of Tung Chi, the Black Scorpion clan, and they ambush him and they knock him out again and they steal the time cabinet. And then meanwhile,
That's it in episode 4 of the time cabinet's going away on the.
yeah, end of episode 4. We're now in episode 5, where
Yay!
the masked man, who we learn is who the Chinese worship as a god called Weng-Chiang, who is actually a man from the future. We don't know that yet, but
We do it quickly in
so-
episode 5. What's his name?
Magnus Greel.
Gruel.
The Greel Magnus. Magnanimous Magnus. That's what the Doctor called him.
No, he calls him something like that, yeah.
So, Li Hsin Chang has failed Magnus several times, so he basically just ruins his stage act and then ditches him because their lair used to be the basement of this theater. So after they steal the time cabinet, they just pack up the basement and leave. Meanwhile, Chang has no idea that he's being betrayed. So
Oh, he does, because he's told that by Weng-Chiang. Very directly. You are no longer my servant. You do what you want to do, I will do what I want to do, but you are no longer my servant. He tells him that very, very directly.
So apparently what he wants to do is have his theater act. So
And at a certain point, Chang is caught in the sub-basement, and he runs away and he escapes into the sewers where the giant rats are, and he gets his leg like bitten off by a rat.
Case of the Mondays, am I right?
Yeah, and then he crawls himself by his hands into an opium den, because yay, family show, we have opium dens.
Wet t-shirt contests and opium dens.
Wait, have we covered the wet t-shirt contest?
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Oh my gosh, so nipply. So you can see everything that white shirt wet, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Now she's wearing a nice pretty white and green.
Right, oh my gosh, their dresses are amazing in this. So he crawls in the opium den, his leg's all messed up. He's literally dying.
He's either dying because he lost his leg and he dragged himself through sewage, but he's also probably dying because he's killing himself with an opioid overdose.
No, I think the opium is a...
No, you definitely overdose on
No,
opium.
he was dying from the loss of the leg. I think the opium is a
painkiller,
kind of a painkiller, yeah.
or just to sit him out with a.
Yeah, you know.
It'll kill you too. The opioid epidemic is not a joke, kids. Don't smoke poppy seeds. Just poppy muffins. Poppy seed muffins. That's what they make opium is the.
I heard
the
you.
Poppy seed. If you eat a poppy seed muffin, you could fail a drug test because it comes up as opium.
Okay, don't do opium. Don't do...
I don't know if that's an urban legend or if you have to eat like a dozen poppy seed muffins, but...
Some people might, but yeah.
Poppy seed muffins are really great, so I can see why. They're really, really good. Really good. Poppy seed muffin. You ever have one?
I don't know.
Like, my top 5 favorite muffins.
I seriously don't know.
You got chocolate chip, and you got poppy seed. And then you have those really vanilla muffins that you dip in butter and dip in sugar. And
Butter and sugar.
that's my top 3 muffins. Have you heard
It
of
sounds good, but...
It's just
really?
a muffin. It's not a chocolate chip muffin or a blueberry muffin. It's just a bland, blank, empty muffin. And you have this bowl of melted butter, and you have this bowl of like brown sugar, and you just go dip, and it's awesome. it's like a
I want to try
buttery.
that. It sounds so wrong.
It's like coffee cake for
on
breakfast.
so many levels.
No, it's just a regular. It's a nice buttery brown sugar topped muffin, and it's excessive, sure. And apparently, everywhere in the world asks why Americans have dessert for breakfast because we constantly eat pastries for breakfast, and the rest of the world's just like gross.
Yeah. Why didn't you have eggs and bacon? Yeah. Why didn't you have an omelet? Yeah.
They're like waffles and chocolate chip waffles. You guys, ew.
Oh my gosh. Get some more Twisted Tea. Seriously. You can sleep here.
That's because every American is the child that grew up and said, when I grow up, I want to have ice cream every day. And then we did. And we had pastries for breakfast. Because England, with tyrant King George, was kind of like the strict parent that was like...
Hiring King George?
Tyrant King George.
Tyrant.
Was the strict parent who was like, you can't do this. And then the colonies were like the rebellious teenager that was like, oh, you don't even understand. And then they grew up and they kind of held on to that rebellious freedom, and that's why we eat pastries for breakfast sometimes. Sometimes we eat bacon. All the time we have cholesterol problems.
Yeah, you need more Twisted Tea.
You know, America is losing all its number ones. We used to be number 1 in obesity. We can't even hold on to that record. It's Mexico now. Mexico beat America in obesity. They're number 1 now. We're number 2. As the
Okay.
apparently candy is very popular in Mexico.
I can see that. Alright. Where the hell are we?
I've been to Mexico.
I've been to Mexico too. Where the hell are we?
Every Mexican looks like they're in better shape than any American. So I don't know how that's
the young
possible.
ones, just the older ones that don't. But where the hell are we?
No, I think the young ones are the ones that are struggling with obesity, like the little obese Mexican children. Because the chocolates and the... We're in episode 5 now, I think.
Oh God, I will let you advance the plot. I will go use the restroom.
No, don't leave me.
I will, so you can actually advance the plot.
I don't know what happens in episode 5.
What do you know what happens? You have notes. You watch the serial, right?
Mostly. You did too. You don't know what happens in episode 5.
I watched it, but seriously.
You don't know.
I can't. What the hell did you watch it? Oh my gosh. I'm going to restroom. You advance the plot.
Watch me be completely sober by the time you walk
No,
into the room.
never. Drink more twisted tea.
So,
for your
episode 5 was my favorite episode. It really shined the whole dynamic duos of opposites because we finally see the theater operator Jago meet up with Dr. Lightfoot, and they're just a fantastic team. They meet up in the theater? So, the Doctor and Leela go after Mr. Chiang, and they meet up with him in the opioid house, and he basically goes, I was betrayed, and then they're like, you did bad things, and he's like, I believed in him, but he was a bad man. They're like, we're also a bad man, and then he died. And that's where the Doctor and Leela are. Meanwhile, Dr. Lightfoot and Jago meet up at the theater, and they... Hold on. No, so Jago goes into the basement that's been cleared out, but they left the bag for some reason because Weng-Chiang, who is really Magnus Greel from the future, is trying to get this time cabinet so he can unscrabble his metabolism and time travel again. So they finally capture the time cabinet from Dr. Lightfoot's house, but apparently they also need the key to the time cabinet, which he had in his basement lair, but because he had his lackeys, the Black Scorpion clan, clear out his stuff from the basement, apparently they just forgot the main component of this time cabinet they've been trying to capture this whole time, and they left the key to it in the basement. So, Jago finds this bag of a ton of strange, weird, futuristic, scientific devices. He goes, the Doctor will know what these are, so he goes to Dr. Lightfoot's house because he knows that's where the Doctor's been staying. And then Lightfoot answers after he, had been knocked out the second time. And there's like a kerfuffle from earlier and broken glass. So he's really cool. So Lightfoot is this really sophisticated, intelligent, successful doctor, and he has this nice house, and he's traveled the world, and he has all these nice things in his house, but he doesn't have any like servants, so he puts on an apron and he grabs a broom and he starts sweeping up the broken glass, and he's a working man. He cleans up his own house. And then Jago comes to the house and knocks on the door, and he answers, and he's wearing the apron and the broom, the dustpan. He goes, they get into this funny misunderstanding where Jago thinks that Lightfoot is the servant of the house, the butler. And then he goes, just introduce me to Lightfoot. And he's like, I am Lightfoot. And he goes, oh, of course you are. Excuse me. And then it's just this really funny dynamic where I just love the combo of these two characters because they work so well together, but they're so different. So anyway, he shows them the bag. He goes, there's all these weird scientific devices that I thought the Doctor would know what it is. And they're like, we can probably figure this out on our own. So, how's the battery?
I'm checking the battery. We're okay. We're pretty good, actually, yeah.
So the Doctor and Lightfoot set out to find. Are you okay? Find the Doctor.
Okay, I made my move on the game.
Oh, okay.
So it's your move. Alright. Where are we?
They found the bag, which had the key to the time cabinet.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, alright. And we have the dynamic duo of Jago and Lightfoot, and they're running around trying to help the Doctor solve the mystery, and they get captured. Meanwhile, the key doesn't get captured because they're trying to escape through the dumbwaiter. However,
they escape the dumbwaiter and they get captured.
Captured again. Magnus sends his lackeys to the basement again to try to recover the key to the time cabinet, although that bag is already missing. And then, so he goes, "Oh, I'm so frustrated. It was in my hands, and then I have one piece and I lose another piece." And he's like, "If you want anything done right, you have to do it yourself." And then they get into a kerfuffle with Leela. Leela, and he tries to capture her and chloroform her while she's not looking. And she struggles and she tears his mask off, where we see this grotesque, twisted, melted
pig-esque form.
Yeah, because his metabolism's all twisted from his failed time traveling.
So end of episode 5.
Yeah, his DNA's all scrambled and weird. So that's the end of episode 5. Episode 6 is the...
Alright, episode 6, Leela gets chloroformed. We saw briefly the face of... What's his name now?
Magnus Reel.
Magnus Reel.
Also worshipped by the Chinese as Weng-Chiang.
Weng-Chiang. Do you need to go use the restroom?
The something god? The what god? Who's Weng-Chiang? Animal god? I think he's the animal god.
No. Well, kind of, yeah.
The scorpion.
He was a god of the animals.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... he was worshipped by the Chinese... based on the cereal from the British as a god of the animals, but yeah.
Was that not real mythology or?
No, not mythology. It was the British take on the cereal.
Oh, so there's no such thing as Weng-Chiang.
I have no earthly idea, but I doubt it. But I have no earthly idea.
They mentioned the Druids, the mystery of the Druids.
They do mention it briefly, and it's conveniently forgotten.
So the Druids used to sacrifice and burn people alive.
That comes up in here only is because the two guys are afraid they'll be burned at dawn, you know?
He's like, are you thinking of the Druids? Which, I just love their dynamic and the references and the quotations and their back and forth because they're so different.
Because what's so different?
Jago and Lightfoot are so different. But they just bounce off each other so well.
They are, but they do.
It's like Goofy and the Straight Man, or whatever. Something in the Straight Man?
Something?
Comic in the Straight Man. What do you call that routine?
Oh my gosh.
Good cut, bad cuts. There's a word for it, but they're great.
Alright. You, Twisted Tea.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. What happened next? I don't know.
You get your choice of tea. I'll tell whatever next. You go use it.
Okay. I'm on empty. I don't have to go. I don't have to go.
Twisted Tea.
I'm just gonna listen to you go. This is 1.3 gallons.
Until what?
1.3 gallons.
No, 1.3 liters.
Gallons. 1.3 gallons. It's a lot.
That sounds good.
14 12-ounce servings.
You're right, actually.
That's such a weird measurement. You never see anything measured in 1.3 gallons.
I don't. There may be something in metric. I don't know.
It's 14 12-ounce servings.
Okay.
4 quarts to the gallon.
Okay, episode 5.
6.
No, episode 6.
Yeah, last episode, the conclusion. After Leela gets chloroformed, tears off the mask, he puts the mask back on.
He's a big face.
Me too.
What?
What happens next?
Okay. What? Why are you laughing?
Because I don't remember. I love this episode, and it left an impact, but it's so hard to keep it straight.
Okay. So seriously, this is a great cereal. Phenomenal cereal.
We have no idea.
Phenomenal cereal. Alright, so anyway, she's like, ah! And he's like, okay.
Exactly.
So, she's chloroformed. Doctor's like, hey, if you harm me, I have this key to the time cabinet. I will destroy it, and everyone will die. And
we got the key. But...
I will hold you hostage with this key. It's crystalline. I will shatter it into a million pieces. So you have to leave her alone. You have to leave my friends alone. You have to leave everyone alone, and we will go. So they go to the Temple of Dragon, right? And he still has the key. And Leela was left based on those demands back at the home base, but she follows them. And then he runs into, what's her name's, Jogu?
Who? Jago.
And Lightfoot back there. He says they have to get away, and I've got the crystalline structure, and I'll destroy it. And eventually, Jagu and Lightfoot say, well, there's two young ladies who are being held, and they're not even 16, for their essence with us. And Dark says, well, they must be released as well. And they get shot because Mr. Sin, the Peking homunculus, has run up into the eyes of the dragon and is shooting the dragon's eyes at people.
A homunculus apparently is a mostly robotic cyborg with a cerebral cortex of a pig.
Yeah, he's a homunculus.
And
anyway,
that's why
he shoots people, shoots the death doctor, and
he's knocked out. They drag him off to prison. He gets the key. They're trying to break out of prison again and rescue the two 16-year-old sacrifices.
And they do break out of prison.
They make a giant whoopee cushion of gas.
Whoopee cushion.
And
not a whoopee cushion.
It's a Molotov cushion.
Not a whoopee cushion.
Molotov whoopee cushion.
No.
So when they open the door to grab the two sacrifices, because the guy's dying and he needs revivification. Because he's dying. So they grab the two sacrifices. However, they walk right into the trap of this giant Molotov whoopee cushion. What? The whoopee cushion? It is a whoopee cushion.
No, your explanation is so bad.
It's not. It's
so bad.
Why is it bad? That's exactly what happened.
Continue.
It's so exactly what happened. He's fading fast. He needs the sacrifices. He sends the guys to get the sacrifices so he can be revived. They open the door right into the trap where there's this explosive canvas bag of gas and the light, and they step on it and it goes, and they're all lying on the floor, and they just kind of step over them, and they go, "Run, girls, run!" And they don't have a single speaking line in the entire.
They're
just catatonic.
That's good. They're good.
The whole time that they're putting together this booby trap, and they're just these two poor girls are just standing in the corner going.
Well, yeah.
Well, they're probably also partially hypnotized or something. I don't know. That's how they That's how they capture their victims. Which I don't know why he tried to chloroform Leela when he has these very powerful hypnotic abilities.
Okay, and
anyway, so they escape, and they're planning a coup to stop him from activating the time cabinet, which runs on Zygon energy, which is not renewable. It's at capacity, and if he tries to activate it again, it's going to explode and kill everybody.
Okay, so it's at the length of itself, and it will snap back and destroy everything here and everything there when it steps back.
Yeah, the end of its cell. So it basically turns into this Mexican standoff, and you have Mr. Sin still in the dragon turret,
destroying
everybody, laser eyes and
everyone.
stuff.
Yeah,
because he was frustrated that he wanted to capture the doctor
and he's a pig
to take his
pig
knowledge.
brain.
Yeah, the pig is like an animal farm where the pigs are psychos, and he wanted to kill the doctor earlier when he was captured, and Magnus said, no, not yet. I need his knowledge because he knows his time travel thing is really screwed up, and so that's made him upset. So Magnus was like, okay, you're upset because he's like, come down from there. Are you upset because I didn't let you kill the doctor? Yeah, once I absorb his knowledge, you can kill whoever you want, everyone. So Mr. Sin, after all heck breaks loose in this hallway, he just starts shooting at everybody, and these the Black Scorpion clan of the soldiers of Shang-Chi comes in and he shoots them too, and they're hiding behind this table, and they're what they're hiding behind is slowly getting broken away, and they make a dash for a gun, and Jago distracts, and Leela darts for the gun, but she's never shot a gun before, so she's and the doctor throws a hatchet into the dragon statue and nothing happens, and then Jago makes a play, and then for some reason Mr. Sin turns on Magnus and shoots him too, and he's like, "Not me, you fool!"
And he dies.
Magnus dies, and they rout Mr. Sin, and they deactivate him too by pulling out his wiring fuse. And that's basically the end of it. They all celebrate on a job well done, and the humanity's saved, and they're in the alleyway walking their way back to the TARDIS, and then
the Doctor and Linda go in the TARDIS, and the others are left going, well, hell, okay.
Yeah, on the walk there, sweet Mr. Lightfoot is educating Leela on ladylike Victorian etiquette and on tea.
Tea is so
which of course doesn't make any sense to a tribal warrior. It's like, what if I want 2 lumps of sugar?
Well, no, you shouldn't.
They're like,
because you're a lady.
She's like, well, why do they offer?
Well, why do you offer?
They only offer so that you can refuse, so you can be a lady.
Tea is so complicated.
Say,
it's 1890s. I don't know what it is like today, in the 21st century.
Now genders are equal, and ladies can have 2 lumps of sugar if they want.
I mean, I guess. I don't know, but I guess.
Yeah. You better believe the Queen of England takes 2 lumps of sugar with her.
Well, I don't know what she takes. I really don't. She's 96 years old.
She's 96 because she takes 2 lumps of sugar and brews it in the tears of children. And that's how she drinks.
Tears of children? What the hell? Alright, you drink yours, I'll drink mine. What the hell are you talking about?
And that's the end.
That's the end of...
We made it.
Yeah.
That was more succinct than I thought it would be.
How many hours do you think this will go?
2.5.
How many? It's probably 2.5 now.
It's probably 2 right now.
Okay.
We just have the recap and questions. That's about it.
Questions. What are your questions?
It's a good question.
Well, you drink.
I'm gonna let the hesitation build.
What are the questions?
I have no questions for episode 1, apparently. The man in the mask, Magnus Grill, seems super familiar, and I was convinced that he was a villain that we had seen from the past because of how he talked. But apparently all villains just sound the same, because he was a brand new villain, and he won't be coming back. But maybe he was played by a previous actor, because his voice sounded super familiar. I don't know who it was.
Don't know, but correct. He doesn't. He has not come back as of thus far.
But apparently the time agents come back, because they mentioned the
time
time
agents are mentioned later on.
Time cabinet. I mean, the Time Lords can't be the only ones Did it have the secret of time travel?
Correct. And time agents are mentioned much later.
And the Daleks also have time travel. But luckily, not many. You think Daleks being able to time travel would cause a whole lot more chaos than it did. But maybe it will again in the future. Did you talk about the car that was covered in hay?
Yeah, so there's a street they're going down, and they managed to make the street look very Victorian, and the horse-driven cart's going in the street, but they got all the cars out of the way except for one, and that one car couldn't contact the owners, so they covered the car in hay, so it looked like a big haystack. So the cart's going down the street. This one big haystack, but it's a car covered in hay, but it was necessary for the shot. It was so funny.
Very car-shaped lump of hay.
It was so awesome. I love it. I love when they do that kind of stuff.
Really
That's
like
awesome. That is awesome.
Filming in stories.
Yeah, it's so good. What else?
I talked about how it's weird that the Doctor was routed and outdone by this masked man, who at first I thought was just a dying wheezebag, but then all of a sudden he's very spry, and I was like, is there two of them? But then we found out that that's because he was absorbing young female women, which, why did it have to be young women?
I have no idea.
They brought Leela in, and he's like, this one has the muscles of a horse.
Exactly. I don't know if it was something that needed to be more...
Too fit.
Yeah. Or more, it had to be... He couldn't deal with them, but they were more fit, you know?
Did we talk about how I think Leela's the most actionable companion we've had since, like, Jamie? On par with the... It's been a while since we had
not the serial, but we talked about that a bit earlier, but it's very true.
We like Leela.
She is amazing, and
really cool.
She is probably the most actionable, as you said, companion since Jamie.
Krakatoa. We talked about how Mr. Sin was played by Deep Roy. We talked about how his
little bitch of Deep Roy, which is in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Cool actor. Can't think of the other movies he's been in,
but
he's been in a lot of movies. It's cool to see him, like this guy that was 60 in Willy Wonka, and then you watch something from 1977, you see him as a 20-year-old actor in this costume. It's like, oh, that's cool. He's been, kind of see the span of his career, and you're like,
he's been around.
Neat, yeah. I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves sometimes. But,
Deep Roy,
why do you say it like that?
Why? Because he was a murderer here. He was a killer little mannequin robot-y thing.
He played a very creepy character.
It was
very
great,
unsettling.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Deep Roy.
Thank you. Who's the guy that played R2-D2 that got an R2-D2C?
Oh, gosh. I have a card signed by him. I have the Gathering card signed by him. I can't
awesome.
Yeah.
Why did you get him to sign a Magic the Gathering card?
Long story.
Okay, I'll have to hear.
Corn Trench Gnomes. Long story.
Oh!
Stupid. Thank you. What are your other questions?
Did we talk about our family show drinking game?
Family show drinking game.
We have a drinking game, and we always drink during some things.
Yeah.
Like things that are too violent for Australia, when they used to obviously like cut scenes from the show.
Correct, which are past.
And we're past, so we replaced that with the family show drinking game. Because we also lost the Sergeant Benton and the Brigadier drinking game because they're not the show.
Right.
We have the reverse the polarity drinking game. Take a shot when they reverse the polarity.
That and whenever a person dies, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So that explains why we come out like this. We talked about how much I liked episode 5 and the dynamic of Lightfoot and Jago.
Like Jago's vocabulary is amazing. It's insane. It's
fantastic.
wonderful.
His diction, he's a walking thesaurus.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also leads to a whole lot of fun insults and derogatory terms. Did you have a favorite? What's your favorite? Your best
oh my
insult?
god. So many of them. He's amazing. He's phenomenal.
We talked about
But
how
the painted. Oh my gosh!
when he was talking about the women with
yeah.
oh
my gosh!
Painted something. Oh, it was rough.
Yeah, he's so
Portrait that was
phenomenal.
rained on.
Yeah.
Eureka means this bath is too hot, apparently.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a line from Airplane.
It does. It actually does.
Eureka, bath.
What?
Oh, Banyan. What was that Banyan quote? Heed of his down need fear no fall.
I don't know.
I'm not a poet. There are a lot of cool quotations and verbiage. The writing was fantastic. I already forgot who. I made a point to ask who the scriptwriter was, or the showrunner was at the time.
Hincliffe, I think.
Hincliffe,
I think.
Hinkerdinkler.
No, Hincliffe.
We talked about the Druids reference. The Doctor's two heartbeats are referenced again when he was knocked out by Sin in the dragon statue, and
right.
Lightfoot was listening to his chest.
Yeah, Lightfoot tests his hearts.
Did we talk about how the homunculus almost caused World War VI?
In the future, no, we haven't talked about it, but that's all there really is to talk about, actually.
They never elaborate on what that means. Because who knows?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, number 2. Asseveration.
Do you have any other questions?
That's it.
Alright. So, we go to deciding the best of season 13.
13. We've been at
13, 14?
We've been at this for 13, 14 years. It hardly seems
No.
Hardly seems like 3 years for a whole
Season 14. Season 14.
14 years. It feels like only 3.
No. You and I, 4 years.
Yeah, so we're getting rid of.
Alright, so what's the best you would think of this season? What would you get rid of?
This is my favorite.
The lots of the death?
We just got honestly, my least favorite. I don't think I have a least favorite. I'm gonna have to think about this one. I really like the Deadly Assassin. That might be my number 2. It's weird how we decide our favorite going into this and kind of work our way backwards. Do you notice that? It's what we do every time.
So that's your number 2.
Probably.
What's your number 1?
The Talons of Weng-Chiang.
Good. I like that.
This is my 1 and my 2.
Great choice.
I don't know what my least favorite is. They're all pretty good.
Alright. Mask of Mandragora.
Yeah, that does stand out to me as probably the weakest.
And this is a really, really, really good season. Most of these could be
But then we get
so good.
Leela, and then they get really good. But then we also say goodbye to Sarah Jane Smith, and that was
Here in the Hand of
that
Fear.
was heartbreaking. So yeah, let's go ahead and you want to cross
The Mask of Mandragora.
Yes.
Yes.
Go. All right, roll that one out.
Alright, so
This one was heartbreaking. The Assassin was really cool because we got to see the Time Lords fleshed out, and
right.
not
No
Scar,
companion, but a lot of Time Lords.
Yeah.
Case
no
of Evil, Robots of Death, Talons of Weng-Chiang. The last 2
Robots
are
of Death?
absolute classics.
This does have some really classic scenes in it. Then we meet Leela. Say goodbye. Oh boy.
Exactly. Such a good season. Such a good season.
Cross this one off, maybe. Face of Evil.
Okay.
Evil. I don't want to. I don't want to cross any of them off, but I don't know how else to narrow them down. You ever do that thing where you're brewing magic decks and you build a deck that's supposed to be a 60 card deck, and then you end up with
68 cards.
You have 80 cards. You're like, man, what do I take out? It's like, I guess I could run 3 of this instead of 4.
Hand of Fear.
Agreed.
Okay. Deadly Assassin, the Doctor's only serial without a companion.
The Robots of
No.
Death is a really classic serial, but I still think I like the Deadly Assassin more.
Really?
I think it goes 1, 2, 3 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Robots of Death over Deadly Assassin?
Okay, we'll compromise. We'll cross this one off here.
Okay, yeah, Robots of Death is definitely better than Deadly Assassin.
Alright, we'll call that number 2, and then the Talons of Weng-Chiang.
Talons of Weng-Chiang or the Robots of Death?
I'm having second thoughts now. They're so good. They're also good. I feel like now I'm just like this. Sure, this one was a lot of fun. It was fun to watch, but now I'm kind of thinking maybe it's because it's the season finale. It was 6 episodes. It had more room to expand on the characters. Maybe it's just the freshest in my mind, and that's why I'm rating it so highly. And I think, nah, it was just really fun.
Okay, so what do you think?
Do you want to talk about the Robots of Death? Robots. I thought it was
Okay.
good. I thought it was really
I'm
good.
literally good with either. The Talons of Weng-Chiang is a phenomenal. The Robots of Death is phenomenal. I'm good with either. What do you think?
Thinking.
Seriously, they're both amazing. Either of these would win a season in their own right if they weren't in the other season. If they weren't in the other's season.
Still felt like the Robots of Death had like a slow episode 1. It was kind of like a slow burn into a really good serial, whereas the Talons of Weng-Chiang had its stride and just kept walking. It was,
So you would go with the Robots of Death?
we cross it.
Okay. Sure.
Are you good with that?
I'm good with that. Talons of Weng-Chiang.
No, man, it was so
wins
close.
this season.
This was like a 5 or 6 way tie, and then we had to narrow it down to one.
Write that down. Talons of Weng-Chiang
Write that
has
down, write
won
that down.
season 14.
It has.
It has. Talons of Weng-Chiang, season 14.
I honestly didn't expect it to.
It did. It did. It did.
And I have to spell Weng-Chiang.
Chiang.
Can't spell that fast. Season 14.
CHI.
T-H-E. Talons.
Talons.
T-A-L-O-N-S.
Weng. W-E-N-G.
How do you spell love? It's W-E-N-G?
W-E-N-G dash
See, it is Wang.
C-H-I-A-N-G.
It's W-E-N-G dash. I have it written here.
C-H-I-A-N-G.
Yeah. Okay. Talons of Weng-Chiang. Season 14. Finale finalist.
Alright. And it won. And yay! Great cereal. Great cereal.
The Talons of Weng-Chiang, Pyramids of Mars, Genesis of the Daleks, all in running for our favorite for Baker. We're going to have to vote on our favorite Baker cereal. Eventually. After another 4 seasons.
Alright, yes, 4 more seasons. Yay!
It'll be a while.
Okay, so we'll see you hopefully next week. I think we might do some Heroes and
Heroes and
Villains.
Villains? This is a movie night? We're gonna watch
Movie night, Heroes and Villains, for a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
You have any questions for me?
Nope. Do you have any for me?
What's your favorite muffin?
Muffin?
Yeah.
Chocolate chip.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then poppy seed. And then the ones that you dip in butter and brown sugar.
Alright. We'll see you in next week or so.
You're only supposed to do it once, but when no one's looking, you can eat the top and then dip it in the butter and the brown sugar again. And then you get
Alright. You make your move.
really
You make your move.
I'll make my move.
And,
On camera?
Yeah. On or off, irrelevant.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Is this still recording? It has been recording this whole time, Hatter.
Yes, it's how that works.
We have to do it all over again.